All right, we will call the regular meeting of the Cannon Township Board to order for May 11, and we will start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Todd?
Sure, I'll be glad to do the invocation. This is optional if you'd like to join me. Our Lord and our God, we pause today to give thanks. Lord, we have so much to be thankful for. We thank you for all the blessings you shower down upon us each and every day. We thank you for the spring weather. We thank you for all the residents in this township that make this township great, whether paid employees or volunteers. Lord, we appreciate them giving their time and their talents. Lord, we pray that you guide our actions, our words, and our deeds so that we make decisions that best benefit this township. And lastly, Lord, we pray that you watch over our first responders, watch over those that work for law enforcement, fire, and EMT and paramedics. Lord, watch over them as they do their duties to keep us safe. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Nancy?
Jim?
Here.
Cy?
Here.
Henry? Absent. Jessica? Here. Steve?
Here.
Todd?
Here.
David?
Here.
All right. We have one change to the agenda. We're going to move K1 up to somewhere right after public comment. How many people are here on the 7 Mile road in the trees? Oh, just about everybody. Okay, good. How many of you would like to address the board?
Nobody.
Oh, well, okay, you're just here to listen. Well, what we're going to do is move that up anyway, and we're going to kind of combine public comment into the issue. All right, so with that change, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Well, we're going to approve the agenda first.
Why don't we do that first?
Motion to approve
we
the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now we can go to the approval of the minutes for April 27.
Motion to approve.
Support? It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Then a motion on the bills for General Fund 19,970 through 93 and EFT 960. Motion to approve those bills?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have two reports, April billing and the treasurer's report. Both speak for themselves. Any questions, comments, or anything on those reports? If not, we'll go right into public comment. And so anybody that has, let's do it this way. Anybody have anything to say not related to 7 Mile? Anybody, anything on your mind? All right, let's then move on to who wants to say something about 7 Mile? Oh, I'm sorry, you're here. I went right over that and I just talked to you. So you're here for public comment. So let's do you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Josh Volk. I'm a resident of Grattan Township, so just next door. I'm here representing Gina Johnson. She's running for state senate in this area, currently held by Rick Outman, but he will be termed out. She currently serves as a state rep over in the Portland, Iona area, so this state senate just kind of includes more portions. She is endorsed by Senator Outman, his son Pat Outman, who's a state representative, and the former state senator Judy Emmons as well, as well as my boss, State Senator Mark Heisinger. Do you want to ask questions or just kind of go in?
Well, tell us.
Okay. So just the top things I think for you guys is local control. She's a huge supporter of revenue sharing, making sure that she knows that you guys and the citizens in your community know how best to use that money. So giving that money to you guys to make those decisions. We know that we have $2 billion worth of local roads and county roads. I know that the county gets a little bit more of that than the city and the township. So making sure that we're continuing to invest because we know your roads and infrastructure also needs to be upheld as well. Law enforcement resources, money towards police, firefighters, EMS, and then just in general, when you're trying to grow your community, it should be local voices. It should be you all and the community members making the decisions of what's going in here and different types of decisions like that before any decision is made here. So those are just some of the top things.
Oh, good. How does she feel about Eagle?
So the biggest thing that we have seen in the state is the government has grown. We have gone from the previous administration from 50 billion to 80 billion now in our state budget, and we have grown in the past 8 years 4,000 new state employees. And what that means is we've grown our departments, and what we have seen is they are now over-regulating our businesses, our farms. You talk to any farmer, they're basically telling farmers how to manage their land, like the farmers don't know how to treat their land, and making sure that we're preserving that. We're going into businesses and adding on extra regulations that go into tens to 50,000s and beyond. So we need to make sure that the lawmakers who are being elected are putting tight restraints on these types of laws so that the department heads are not making the decisions here in our department.
That's nice. And she would be willing, I hope, if she wins, to talk to us about what help she might be able to give the residents of the North Kent Sewer Authority.
Yes. So one of the biggest things is she was in minority for the first 2 years. What she was able to do to ensure that her citizens in both Portland and Lowell didn't have to get a tax increase, she was able to get money in minority from the state budget to go to their wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, super. That's going to be very helpful. Invite her. Not,
of course.
No offense, but
yes, we're splitting up. It's a big district, so
yeah, good. Okay, but she's welcome here anytime, and I think residents would like to see her too.
So there's a resolution in the House right now that's to preemptively take away zoning control from the township.
Yes.
Any comment on where that's going, or support or lack of?
I can follow up and provide that. Unfortunately, I work in the Senate, so I don't always see that stuff, but I can follow up and then get that information.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It would take anything we have as far as restrictions for homes or zoning
lot sizes
would go away.
Density.
I can have her reach out directly to you to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Anybody want to talk about 7 Mile? We have Nate Henschel here. I'm going to say he's from Consumers. Have him go last, if that's okay. And so, who wants to talk about what's going? You want to tell us what's going on with 7 Mile now?
Just a quick story as to what's happening on 7 Mile. This is probably a result of the last 8 or 9 years that I've been complaining to Consumers Energy about the power outages that we've all experienced. We have had 317 hours of power outages since 2017 when the problem started. The problem started in 2017, 5 years after the last tree trimming that occurred in 2012. And it had been 13 years since the trees were trimmed. I got the arborist out there numerous times, or once, 3 days before the tree fell on the power line in front of my neighbor's house, brought the power line and the pole down to the road. We were without power then. Another time on another neighbor's house, the fuse got tripped a day after a storm came through. Not during the storm, but the next day. And it took 77 hours for that fuse to be reset. And that pole is 10 feet from the road, and the power lines are right over the road. So long story short, my complaints to Consumers Energy have given them the opportunity to spend money on a capital improvement project called a zonal health improvement. And the zonal health improvement is very contentious with the Michigan Public Service Commission in the last rate cases because it does not give specifics. The scoring that determines what a zone is that needs improvement is not very specific. And they used unproven methods of determining which zones need to be improved. Well, the zone was improved last September when they trimmed our trees. Have you noticed that we haven't had any power outages since last September? But that isn't how Consumers Energy makes money. They don't make money on trimming trees. That's a pass-through. There's no profit to be made in that. They are not allowed by law to profit on operations and maintenance costs. And trimming trees is an operation and maintenance cost. So as a result, they find that there's a way to make a capital improvement by moving the power lines next to the road. And that's going to improve our reliability. Well, we've already got the reliability improved. So why would you want to move the power lines next to the road? Well, that's how you make $80,000 in profit. Because this project costs $825,000 projected. And that's out of the rate case. As I'm telling you today, the reliability issues have been resolved. This is completely unnecessary to move these power lines next to the road. Yes, consumers will say, well, we can just drive down the road and see when there's an issue. Well, that issue will not come up in the future because trimming trees on a 13-year schedule or a 10-year schedule or a 7-year schedule is not the industry norm. The industry norm, as determined by the Liberty audit that was paid for by you and I as taxpayers, we paid for the Liberty Consulting Group to come through and analyze why we've had chronic reliability issues in Michigan. And they determined that the number one cause for these reliability issues in Michigan is lack of tree trimming on a frequent enough basis. They looked at other industries, peers of Consumers Energy and DTE, and determined that if you trim the trees on a 4 to 5 year cycle, which now they're mandated to do, that you won't have these kind of reliability problems. I'm almost suspicious that they held off on trimming trees so that they could justify these capital improvements so they could make more profit. Now, Consumers Energy is so far behind trimming trees, they won't be caught up until 2030 or 2031. But they were able to come down our street and cut all these trees down for a capital improvement within weeks. It took them almost a year to get out here, more than a year to get out here and trim the easements that were existing that were causing our power outages. But when it comes to moving power lines and making profit, they can do it immediately. So I'm still saying that this is all unnecessary. I've poured through 6,000 pages of the rate case. This is the last rate case that you and I have all gotten an 8.9% increase in our electric bill as of last Friday. So Consumers Energy can profit from all these kind of nonsense kind of capital improvements. The Liberty audit also found that there is not an enormous degradation or that all this capital improvement is necessary. As a matter of fact, they found that since 2014 to 2022 in the Liberty audit, that the capital improvements have almost more than doubled. And yet the reliability remained almost flat. And that's SADI without meds. Thank you very much.
All right. Who's next?
We fielded 4 questions to Steve
Name and address, please.
to run to Brian Norton 59767 7 Mile. Sorry.
Right.
So we had these questions sent, Nate, over to you guys earlier. Out of 14, we narrowed to 4 major concerns. So I want to make sure they're fielded so that consumers can respond to this group. First of all,
Yeah, hang on a minute. What were, remind me, because that was all in emails, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have that in here?
I've got it here. Make a
'Cause what-
copy of it.
All right, what, do you have them?
Yeah, I was going to kind of use.
Well, go ahead. Well, why do your thing and then, well, yeah, if you got another one, yeah, good, okay.
So we just narrowed it to 4 major ones. One is there isn't anybody here. Did anybody get a written letter to you notifying you that this project was going on and that trimming would be taking place? You probably got a door hanger, right? Maybe a door hanger? Not even a door hanger. So no, last year, yeah, but no notification. So the question we want to know is why did consumers not follow not only their written policy on the website, but also MPSC rule, bunch of numbers, R460.3505. It requires the property owner notifications not less than 3 days prior and not more than 90 days before planned maintenance tree trimming. This, there's an attachment that we can get you. So nobody got notified about the project, right? So that's a big problem. That's a huge miss on consumers, and it's flat out disrespectful.
Before you go on, I want to make sure I didn't screw up. Did I can't see all my emails.
Yeah.
I thought I sent this. Did I send this to you, Nate? The questions? Huh? You don't think so? That might have been my fault. Sorry.
It's okay. We just
So
want,
what?
we
Yeah,
wanted them to be
good.
prepared.
I thought I had, but
I think the
okay.
answers can be. I think the answers are there. So, but
Well,
thank
what
you.
we'll do at a minimum is we're going to get these questions to Nate, and if we don't have an answer tonight, we can follow up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we're asking. So that's
Go ahead.
first.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. It caused a tremendous amount of confusion. Paint's being put on trees that have been personally planted by people, whether it's in the easement or not. You know, crews are showing up and cutting things without people knowing exactly what, people confronting crews saying, please don't stop. Please, can I tell you to stop until I can get somebody to tell me what you're doing? Asking for information from the cut crews. Can you show me something that you have authorization to be on my property? Nothing. So consumers created a tremendously emotional and a very charged situation, which unfortunately the Sheriff Department had to make a couple trips out. Unnecessary and a huge miss on consumers' part. Number two is the justification, okay? And this is quickly what Bob has just said, is all the tree trimming was done, and it was done so well. It cut bunches of trees on my property that consumers admitted that they didn't have the right to cut. They cut outside the easement. I end up getting them to give me some trees to plant in their place. It'll take about 30 years before they get to the size of the ones they cut. So why are you spending more money when you just, and we want to know how much did it cost to do the tree trimming on the current trim? They just trimmed it in September. It cost us that money to trim those trees. It's done. Why are we paying twice? We need a justification why you have to spend again. Number three, the marking and trimming of trees on private property. There's a huge issue about easements. They're in your title document, right? There's a little bit of language usually in there that tells you a little bit about easements. Most of us don't even know where it is and what it's about. That's our fault. We should know better. But consumers knows what it says. But the idea of moving easement or being on people's property without providing any proper legal reason to be on that property, marking trees before you even have any permission, is unacceptable to this community. It's absolutely unacceptable. So you're going to have to show us some legal easement language that allows you to do what you're doing on an individual basis with any property owner. It's just unacceptable.
And that issue is what you're getting at here in number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, just some damage has been done. There are people that have had trees cut. There's a remediation process that we want to know what is going to be done about what has been done that you shouldn't do. There have also been trees cut within the 33-foot county easement. You can drive down 7 Mile and go look at the stumps. You shouldn't even been touching those. You don't even have a permit. Consumers has no permit to cut in the 33-foot easement that is provided by the county. You told us that in the meeting. We're not using the county.
Do me one favor.
Sorry.
Let's go ahead and direct everything to us.
I'll put it back. So why are trees being cut in the county easement? Just drive down 7 Mile Blakely. You'll see they're well within 33 feet, even if you use your tape measure. Okay. Why are they being cut down? You could have left those there, cut down where you wanted to cut. So we want to know what the remediation. And lastly is, when we finish tonight, is what notification process is going to be done about this project? What is the status of the project? What is next? Is it been paused? Is it being canceled? And what is the next step of communication? Because this is not happening any further. Thank you, Steve, for your help and the board for getting
I did a great job. I didn't get him the.
Yeah, last thing, I put a letter on November 9th of last year to get a meeting with Nate and as well as others. I got no answer until 2 days after they started cutting down 7 Mile. 5 months waiting for some leadership, and it was to 5 different leaders, including forestry, consumers affairs, and several others. The planning department, no answer until the chainsaws are running. Unacceptable.
Thank you.
I got a quick question for you. Did they clean up what they cut?
They only cut up or chip the smaller branches. All of the trunk and limb stock that is too big to chip, that's all laying all down 7 Mile. And from what I'm being told is we're leaving it there. When they did the tree trimming, they did the same thing, just chipped up the small stuff. I spent 3 weeks dragging stuff around my property. I'm not even done cleaning up from the last time we were there.
A couple of weeks at a meeting, you came in, and then the next day or whatever, I drove down Blakely, and then I drove down 7 Mile, and I noticed it looked like
it's all stacked up. And apparently consumers.
I will say, however, I have a long driveway, and it's, I don't know how long, 600 feet or something. And anyway, consumers went through and cut, and they marked the trees with little dots, like an X on the one that leaves and then a circle on the one to trim.
Yeah.
And I will say this was 3 years ago, I think, and I still have the logs because we were told that they leave those. That's what we were told by the people that were doing it. So they still are there.
Seems like it would be the owner's prerogative to keep it if they want to keep the wood, or have you clean up the mess you make.
Yeah.
That's just a natural fifth kindergartner approach to life. Clean up the mess you make. And right now, 7 Mile Blakely looks and is expected to be left that way, to stare at every day we drive down the road. So I want consumers to clean it up.
All right.
Even what you've done so far.
All
So
right.
I want to know the notification process of what happens to the project. That's very important tonight. What's
Yeah,
happening next?
that's one of the things I wrote down here.
Gotcha.
So,
Thank
who else wants? Sorry. Yeah, you're welcome. Who wants to talk about 7 Mile? Come on up. Name and address, please, and thank you.
David Zarnicki. I'm actually on 6580 on Blakely. So I just want to reiterate that everything that's happening on 7 Mile has happened on Blakely first. So I just want to make sure for the record that that's
Good.
included in this conversation. All the concerns that they said are valid. I do agree that what they did in September was actually very good. We were informed, everything went well. There is some trees left, but they did take out trees to better the grid. I understand that. I'm not sure what's necessary about this current one, but I agree right now there's a lot of debris that's on the ground. It's not picked up. I've got like 5, I'll call them totem poles, because they trim them up and they just leave them. So I think they're going to come back and clean them up eventually, but it's been quite a while since they've actually did the first cuts. So our yard has been looking pretty disastrous right now for at least a month now. And
Okay.
we're just wondering, when are they going to come through? And there has been a gap in communication between consumers and the tree trimming people, because I've had 5 mature trees that were marked with a dot that got trimmed, and they're basically destroyed now.
Yeah.
So to your fourth point, I believe, what is the plan to replace those trees? So we've had September cuts and now cuts. So it's very frustrating to see your yard just getting decimated without any reason or justification. And yes, so Blakely, I might speak for some other people that are in here from Blakely Drive. We have the same concern. So I just wanted to capture that for the record.
Oh, thank you. Who's next? Come on up.
Hi. Good evening. Jeff Belmonte, 5677 7 Mile Road. And I just had a question about planning. We had consumers out on last week, and 5 or 6 people came out, and various departments, and they had all kinds of ideas about timing and what's next, and they're going to get back to us. But north of me, on that north line going up towards Belding Road, there's a couple of properties or lots that have been recently set up, marked out with a survey. And there's some property just south of that, but north of me, that someone might want to put a house on for a child or grandchild someday. So what is the process? Does consumers come to the township and ask, say, hey, how does this work with your planning? Because one of the ideas floated out last week was we'll just take the whole north-south line out of the woods and move it over to Blakely. But then if that's gone, how would you run power to those lots that were just subdivided last couple years? But if there was more, you would just cut off the power that could be there for those houses. So that's my question. Is there any consumers working with the township to say, hey, if we're going to put some houses in here, and it kind of can lead to a conversation about underground power, because I was told last week that 15% of the power in the state supplied by them is underground, and 95% of that's in a subdivision. So if you're going to put a subdivision in the woods or put houses in the woods and you want to put it underground, maybe they could think about that before they take the power out of the woods again. So
you have 2 questions basically. One has to do with underground, and the other one is the site plan process and how consumers works with the township.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Jessica, you're on the Planning Commission. Can you speak to what the Planning Commission does as far as the approval process? It's been a while since I was on the Planning Commission. I think I remember, but do you want to talk to that?
Our township engineer always tells us exactly what needs to be done. And
Yeah.
that's not really planning commission that we discuss. I mean, we talk about it, but we're not the experts as far as that goes.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. So there's things that, boxes that have to be checked for an approval of a site plan.
Yep.
Setbacks, things like that, and easements, and the road commission and consumer utility easements, roads right of ways. And what our engineer does is he makes sure that all of those easements and rights of way are complied with as far as the setbacks. But as far as getting approval for a development or a house to be built, I'm not aware that they sign off, as long as they may weigh in and say it's fine where it is because that is outside of their easement.
Yep.
But what's an interesting thing to me on this, which I don't know, is the and as far as the underground, this is my understanding. When there is a development, and this may be wrong, I'm wrong a lot, but that's okay. We get around it. That's why we have good people. So the thing is, I think that underground is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And so I think it's up to the development, and maybe Nate can help me out with that, but I think it's up to the development to pay more if they want it underground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason I say that is because we have 10 houses on our, I think 10 or 11 houses on our private drive. We have the wires. That's why they cut down my.
Yeah. Yep.
And we talked about, should we put them underground? And it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And we would have had to bear the cost of that.
My neighbor 2 houses over, he got told he could pay $5,000 to get power underlined to his house, but then I get it for free. Apparently, that's what they offered me, and that speaks to what's the tax implications if I give an easement up to anybody. Possibly that could lower the value of my property because now there's people that have the right to go through my property. If I didn't know about an easement that wasn't recorded, like I got sent a 1937 document, which was interesting. And it said that one wire could go through the property, one line on the easement within 400 feet of the road. And I said, okay, that's great. How do you get the second line? Like, how do you get another active line on that? Oh, we're going to cut all the trees down by the street, make that line active simultaneously while we're running this line until we cut over. And I'm like, well, that's 2 lines. You only get one. So that's part of for us as taxpayers. If we then move the line out to the street, have to give them an easement to get power back to our house. I was told by the Kent County Road Commission that could have implications on your mortgage because you're changing the value of your home by giving up an easement, and the mortgage company could come in and say, that 2.5% mortgage you like, we're going to pull that and you got to refinance. So that came from the Kent County Road Commission.
From what I remember from our last meeting, one of the big issues is the authority, and hopefully we get some answers. And here's the thing, if we don't get all the answers, I bet we don't tonight, but we talked about this being a recurring thing on our agenda every 2 weeks, and we're going to address this to the extent we can help. I mean, it's not really a township thing, except to the extent that you all are residents here, and we work for you. So if we can help facilitate answers and a resolution, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So that's about all we can do, though, but what is intriguing to me is this easement issue, and I don't know the answer to it, because you have utility easements, and I don't know the extent to which they can or can't just change. I don't know the process or any of that.
Yeah, and I would think that too, that looking at what happened in the west side of my property and the east side of my neighbor's property, if that's an easement issue, I'm for sure coming down here and filing for a lower tax bill.
Oh.
Because it's absolutely decimated the value of her ability to sell her property. And it had to go one way or the other, right? You either have to maintain the existing lines or you move the line and put new ones up. That I don't think anybody, I don't know that that's not unreasonable that could happen, but to do both is the issue. And then from a tax standpoint, well, what are we losing in this from a property value, from a tax value standpoint?
Right.
That's not real clear and easy to me. I wish it were, but.
Well, I certainly hate to speak for our assessor and our, what is it, the Board of Appeals? Board of Review. Yeah, I don't want to speak for them because I don't know if that is a base. There's so many implications of different things here. I mean, if they have the legal right to do it, is that a basis for reducing the tax? I don't know.
Right.
I just don't know the answer to those things.
Yep.
But we're going to get as many answers as we can, and we're going to get updates on where we are right now, hopefully, and hopefully we can help get some information shared here.
Great. Thank you very much.
Certainly. Who's next? Anybody? So in the last meeting, I said I would invite somebody from consumers. And so that night, I actually got a text from somebody who got me in touch with Nate. Nate will come up here in a second. As far as him being here tonight, my guess is he was the one absent at the meeting that they had to decide who would come here. So, but we're glad to have you. So Nate, if there's no other questions, I want to save him for last to get as many issues so we can get him to answer potentially as many questions as we can and take then others with him, not people, issues. So come on up, Nate, and introduce yourself. And you kind of got a flavor for what's going on. And so to the extent you're able, maybe we can explain some of this stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Like was mentioned, I feel bad. This is kind of an awkward.
It is an awkward.
I'm like,
because they can hear you better.
Yeah, that's fine. This
Yeah.
is good.
But my name is Nate Henschel. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy for this region. First I want to start with, this is certainly not the experience that we want anyone to have, right? I'm a customer myself. The questions that were sent, I'm happy to, or the questions that I think were had, but maybe not sent. I wrote down.
Oh, you wrote them down? Okay, good.
Yep, I've got them. Certainly happy to provide the answers to those and to work through this and to continue to work through this project as a whole. And so there's a couple things that I want to address. And some of them I can't address for sure right now, not without going back and checking the information with the project team. We've got a forester assigned to this, a project manager, right, a whole team. I kind of play a sidebar to that team now, right, to try and figure out what's sort of going on up here, what's next steps. So let me talk to a couple things. So this project has been in the making and targeted on our system known as a problem circuit for some time. It truly is a reliability project at the end of the day. I'll get to some more of the why. We've had over 24 outages in the last several years on that circuit. And there have been outages since we trimmed it last year. And so it's been a known problem, right? That's one that we're trying to work through and design, budget, right? Getting into the work plan. Our team has met with customers out here so far. I think it was referenced earlier that there was an on-site meeting just last week. And we're going to continue to do that and engage, right? To try and figure out the path forward. The project it's paused at the moment. We've paused work, right, until we can figure out some of the questions and answers. Some of it's going to go through redesign based on some of the feedback that we've gotten from neighbors. The big piece and the problem that, from what our system engineers tell me, is that north-south line that runs through really the woods forest, whatever you want to call it, in between Blakely and I don't know what the next, it's like a dead end at the end of 7 miles. So kind of through there, that's really our huge problem for us on that line. So the idea is to get that line out of that area. And it's not just, we trim it, right? We trim 10 feet. Trees fall more than 10 feet. It's not a simple solution just to trim, on either side. Certainly helps improve, but in the long run, it's even more than that. And we are down to a 5-year trim cycle that was approved this year. But it's even access at the end of the day, getting back there with equipment to find the outage, repair the outage. It severely complicates our ability to do that. So moving it out to the road where it's easier access point is certainly the idea and why we're doing it. We're working towards, and we know we have a lot of work to do, no customer outage lasting longer than 24 hours, no more than 100,000 customers at once. It's a lot of improvements to make on the system. A large piece of that is trees. That is trimming. That's, it's kind of an all the above approach though. While trees are our number one or top cause of outages, there's other reasons too, right? And so we're balancing these upgrades on the system, with, kind of that long-term vision. Our team goes through on the engineering side, circuits every year, identifies problem circuits, areas to make improvements. And like I said, this has been identified as one of those problem circuits. It's not a win for us, right, to do this. We certainly, really value as a company, right, the trees, tree cover, right, the environment. But at the end of the day, marching towards those reliability commitments and goals, we've got a lot of projects to do. And so it's a combination of these upgrades, right? The original plan was to actually bring that line out, move it down 7 Mile. We were going to add 3-phase, right? So it's additional redundancy in the system, upgraded tree line, tree guard, tree wire, right? Things like that. So it's not just access, it's also what we're improving. The plan for now, and again, I'll look into the communication that had or had not happened before, but they're working on, the project team is working on some emails, some mail pieces, right, to kind of give an update on the project as a whole, the current scope, where we're looking. My understanding right now, and it's still going through a little bit of a redesign, is still the goal is to bring that line out from the wooded area right along Blakely. And then we're going to do what we hope is like a reconductor down 7 Mile. So basically it's just upgrading the line, adding better tree guard, right? The other forestry pieces that have already happened. So sort of a combination of the plan, right? That was original, trying to work with customers, right? Poles, where it's going in their front yard down Blakely, those conversations will still be ongoing. We're committed to trying to figure that all out. But at the end of the day, this is still our path to, a more reliable and resilient grid. Let me see here if there's any other. Oh, why we left the wood. I got to double check this, but I'm near positive that we were sued back in the day, because that's folks, they view it as property, right? So somebody sued us where even though we have an easement, that we were removing property, their property. And so we leave the larger pieces. We are allowed to trim and brush up and cycle some of those smaller pieces. It's been a problem for us for a while, and it's going to continue to be. We're trying to figure out how to partner with folks that want the wood, right? And think about people that heat their homes, others, because it is a lot, right? And we understand that. So we're trying to figure out, is there some way, in that partnership in the long run, but we don't leave it just for fun or to try and make, people's lives even harder. But again, know that, we're committed to trying to, work through this, meet with the neighbors, get the communications out. I will check into those questions that were posed earlier, though, and I'm happy to report back to you on those.
Do you know how long this pause is going to be for?
So the project originally was supposed to start, when I say project, like the actual moving of the poles, the lines, the wires, things like that, sometime around September. So the forestry is well ahead of that, right? We have a whole property team that documents the easements, right? And to my understanding, and I will double check this and confirm this, we have not worked outside of anywhere where we have current easement rights and availability. There's a process that we go through internally to check that. I have to check on the county easement question. I don't know the answer to that, if we've actually utilized that. There's a separate process that we'll go through to attain those clearances and approvals. But that's something I will definitely check back on.
All right. All right. Thank you. So moving forward here, we can make this, if you don't mind, you can continue to email me. I promise I will do a better job of, I missed this one. So, I thought but I guess I didn't. Anyway, I will have, so what we can do is, and then I can pass these on to your group, right? And I don't mind being, to the extent it would help anybody, like, kind of like helping to bridge this gap. So that might take some of the.
And we'll go through, I know that our team's been collecting emails and things like that from some of the neighbors. Mm-hmm. Usually typical contact goes through, the door, basically door-to-door knocking, right? We'll have a forester project manager go through if we need to obtain easements, which sometimes in projects we do. Mm-hmm. They'll go through that. It's sort of that one-on-one, kind of access point. But what we'll do is we're compiling a larger list for neighbors. That way we can actually go through, send a mailer, send an email, like make sure the information gets appropriately, because you can see there's a lot of questions between what we were going to do, what we're going to do now, what's the timing. And so we want to make sure that we're being, receptive to that and noticing that the information's not getting out, right? And I'll track down, like I said, what's happened before, but committing going forward to make sure that the information's there and that dialogue is there.
However you want to use us, do it. I think direct contact is always the best because there's no
Right.
mediator, but
Yeah.
intermediate.
Rather than play like telephone.
Yeah. So, but if you want to use us, that's fine. I will participate in anything. You want to have meetings here and you would like kind of I'm fine if you wanted me to sit in on those to kind of make sure things keep moving, and we can do it here. We can have a room here, and
Appreciate that.
yeah, and everybody would be invited, and we'll keep it moving. And I think one of the big issues that I would be interested in would be the legality of the easement issue about how it can move. So that's one of the big things, isn't it? So I would put that on higher on the list.
And I need to do a better job of understanding that question too of it moving.
Well,
Usually
here's what
when
I think I understand. Tell me if I'm wrong. You got an easement where it is right now, where the utility lines are.
Mhm.
And I think the question for the people over there is, correct me if I'm wrong, how can you put it somewhere else on their property by the front of the road if you had a utility easement back here, right, wherever it is? And
Yeah.
that's your issue, right? That then consumer takes it to the front of the house by the road.
So it could happen, I believe, and I'll double confirm this. We could utilize the right of way,
The road right away?
the road right of way. We
Okay.
could utilize that, or we could obtain additional easements. So some of the work that's being done down Blakely, I think it's the gun club. We actually had
Gun
to
club is
obtain
over there,
easements there. So we did not have easement rights. We had to obtain those. And so we go through that process where we go to the property owner, explain sort of the project, the scope. They have to sign new easements in order for us to proceed with the work.
Well, I think that's an issue because that has people, not everybody has signed off on that, have they?
We've been working within current easements that we already
Oh, okay.
already
So
have
you're
documented.
working within the road right of way easement.
No, we're working within current easements that we as the company already have established.
Okay, because that's not what I heard. Did I hear that wrong?
Outside of the gun club, that was, I think, the only
Well,
new easement that we had to obtain.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding something, but well, let's finish with you, and then I'm going to ask a question of these folks because that might help you focus.
Yeah, sure.
Because I might be the one I may be making a mess of this. So what else do you have?
I think that's it. I mean, is there other questions?
Do we have any
I
questions?
will follow up. We'll continue to.
Yeah, let's follow up. Yeah, we will. All right. Thank you, Nate.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, you had come on up. Name and address, please. Sure. And while you're on the way up here, what I'm understanding is that not everybody has been approached to sign off on an easement on the property. Is that right? Okay. And so then the question, if I'm hearing it right, Nate, that the question for these folks is either, because what I heard was either A, you're using an easement that was approved or granted by the owner, like on the gun club, or you are using the existing road right of way, right?
Existing easement.
Well, I'm sorry, the existing easement for utility easement on the property.
Yes, you have the existing easements already.
Well, have you all, sorry to keep you waiting, but have you all checked to see, well, how would one find that out? Would that be like on the deed or what's recorded?
Yeah, the registry.
Have you checked that out?
If they didn't have rights in your title, that's how the company did the work.
They have the easement on there. Well, wouldn't that answer a lot of this?
Well, it does if you agree, but if you don't agree, right, it's up one line.
So did you get, that's right. That's your issue because one line is the issue. Okay. So I think what people should do is first of all, check the title work to see if there is that utility easement where they're putting it, right? Because that would, am I right, Nate? That would give you the right to use the easement because it's on your title work. Then the question becomes, is that title work, does that limit the number of lines they can put in the easement? Is that your other point?
It's one of them, yeah. Can you have it in your easement? Then can you choose to move that easement to where you want? Sometimes it's described down to the northwest, or less bad in the northwest. It's very specific. Everyone's is going to be different.
Everybody's got a different easement?
Everybody has some different language. This was done in 1937. Others were done 20 years ago. So it doesn't mean exactly the way yours would, but some are very specific about what direction the line runs, what direction the line runs, and you're changing that line as you walk.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. So, Nate, the question I would have is can you change the easements other than getting approval from the homeowner, the property owner? So that's just an issue. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No problem. No, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shario Ollier. I'm a resident at 6255 Blake.
I'm sorry, you turned around. Can you give me your name again? Sorry.
Sure. My name is Shario Ollier. I'm a
Perfect.
resident at 6255 Blakely Drive North.
Thank you.
Just like everybody else from this area. I just have a general.
Right into the mic. Sorry.
This is good.
That's much better. Thank you.
I'll read the rules next time better.
Perfect.
I just have a general comment, and this comment is not intended to be a criticism of units, but since you're a representative of a well-established, well-funded
I'm sorry. I know he's back there, but we don't want him standing here. So if you can just talk, he will hear you better if you talk right into the mic.
I think personal eye contact is also important in
I
the
do
level
too.
of communication. So I
do
will
too,
do my best to stay here. Let me please continue with this.
Yeah, just so you know, people, when you're supposed to address the board. So to the extent you can, just address us and everybody will hear it. Okay?
Thank you. I'm sorry?
So it's important that everybody hear it. So go ahead.
May I
I'm sorry. I
continue?
will not interrupt you again.
I appreciate that. My point is the comment that I'm about to make is not necessarily intended to be a criticism of Nate per se, but a criticism of the organization of the Consumers Powers.
Okay.
This is a well-established, well-organized, long-standing company, certainly in Michigan, if not in other states as well. This is not the first time that they have had a project far more complicated than this on their agenda. It seems to me, based on my own project management experience from the past, somebody put the horse before the cart. Somebody did not think about exactly all the elements, all the dependencies, all the factors that are important in project management principles. These are the basic principles. And because of that, we have about 50 different residents here. And you can easily take this, probably multiply by 10 or 20, and that's how many more people probably would like to be here and express something, but have not had the opportunity to do it. Nobody here was communicated with. Nobody was told what's going to be happening. And now we're in a position that we have to sit down and scramble and try to address this issue. And then we're still not getting any information. So we have to go back and wait again and wait again. Now the project seems to be on pause. This whole thing has not been planned well. And as a result, Consumers Powers customers are paying the price of this because of the impact it's had on the residents, on their properties, and the confusion that's been caused in here. I think this township, this board, has far more important things to take care of than why certain trees are being cut out without any information or any conversation, discussion about it. This is not something that we should be doing it. They are the ones that are starting the project. They are coming forward and doing all these different things and leaving the debris and all the other concerns around. They are the ones responsible to tell us what is happening, what is not happening, and if there is any permission, any conversation, any discussion that needs to take place, then they are the ones responsible to come to us. It is their project. I just want to say that. And besides that, some of the other questions that were about communication, those were not addressed tonight. We heard that Consumers Powers has had some issues, and they were trying to understand why this component of the project is working while this one was not communicated or anything. That is their bailiwick. Why be suffering the consequences of that? All they have to do is get their act in order, come here with information, with a distinct and explicit questions that we have asked, and come back with those answers. We don't have time to do this every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. Thank you.
Certainly. I will say that anything that is important to our residents is not too,
Trivial.
too small for us. Anything that's important to you is important to us. That's what you pay us to do, no matter what it is. And if we can, and I get what you're saying completely. It seems like it's a consumer's issue, and it seems to me like it's really an informational thing, and maybe the informational thing will uncover things that need to be fixed. But we are also where we are now, regardless of how we got here or whose fault it is. And if we can help get things moving and get the information and make sure that what's supposed to be done is being done, that's what we are here to do. Whether we should have to or not is a different thing. And to me, it's kind of irrelevant. We'll help you solve it if we can. All right. That's why we're here. So, but you're right. Ultimately, it's going to be a consumer's thing. And that's why I think Nate is here to gather information. And again, it's my fault. I did not. I sent him this email with the questions, which was like the most important one you had. So I screwed up there. But he's got them now, right? And Nate's going to work on that. And there's going to be, I believe, an increased dialogue here. And I appreciate everybody's professionalism and courtesy tonight. And we're going to keep going through this until all your questions are answered. I certainly can't guarantee you're going to like the answers ultimately, but at least you'll get the answers. And if it passes legal muster, that, you know, it is a utility and they have certain advantages built into the law. So does anybody have anything else that they would like to say? Come on up. Name and address, please, and thank you.
Kim Marver,
Pull
62.
that microphone down to you.
Okay, short person. Kim Marver, 6270 Blakely Drive. And I had no intent of coming up here and talking, but I wouldn't even know this was going on if it wasn't for a nice neighbor on 7 Mile who put something in my mailbox. So I say thank you to him. And I just want to make sure that the question, because it's kind of more 7 Mile, the question about Blakely, where it's actually going down Blakely, it kind of stopped right at the gun club, right at my neighbor's house. And my trees are coming up next, which they all trimmed down. And now we just wonder how many more are going to go, or if they're going to go. Because it was like shocking to watch our beautiful nature street lose all those trees. I mean, fall is so beautiful on Blakely, and it is just all gone. Here I am shaking. How silly is that? And when I listened to the first guy about making money, when it got trimmed in September, we actually have a mark on a tree in our yard because there's limbs sitting on it, and it's the line that goes to our house. They never trimmed that one. We stopped them numerous times when we saw trucks because we wanted that tree taken care of, and they kept saying, we'll send a different truck later, we'll send a different truck later. That was September. So when the trim was done, I actually called consumers, and I have a ticket number. I kind of wish I would have brought it here now, and I could show you that. And they made a ticket that they would come out and trim this tree. Well, all the winter went. We had a big storm. Big branches came down in my yard. Luckily, the power didn't go out. So I called them again. And this time, they sent me to the forestry people, and he actually came to my house. And that was already 6 weeks ago, and he left a card on my door saying they would have it taken care of within 2 weeks. The tree's still dropping limbs, and they haven't taken care of that one, but yet I watched them take care of all that stuff on 7 Mile. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. So,
This tree, is that close to the road?
no.
Okay,
Well,
so-
it's the line to my house.
Okay.
But they came and marked it. They put a blue dot on it.
It's in the easement, but not near the road. It's not in the road right away.
No, because they couldn't drive.
What's your address again?
6270 Blakely Drive.
Nate, do you think you could have somebody follow up on that tree and the request?
So the paper that I got on my door, well, about 6 weeks ago, I called him back last week because I have his own name and his own number, but he hasn't bothered to call me back yet. So
Nate will follow up. I see him.
I
taking
just worry about
copious notes.
follow-ups. I'm worried what's going to happen next because, like I said, I
Right.
wouldn't have known this if Bob Jennings, somebody put something in my mailbox. I don't
Yeah,
want to
we-
be surprised and come home and see all my trees in my front yard gone.
No, I was communicating with Bob and told him to get the word out, right?
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like we don't know what to expect because that was really a surprise how far down there.
I think my hope is that the communication is going to improve.
Okay. Just wanted to get my little piece in.
No, I'm glad you did. Who's next?
Someone over here.
Way over. I say this a lot. I don't see over here, so sorry. You have to find somebody down here that does, and they can bug me. Name and address, please.
Doug West, 5611 7 Mile. Just to correct a little bit on Nate, he said it's all easement work. Well, on my property, they took down trees in the right of way not on the
In the road right away?
road right away.
Okay.
And
What's your address again?
5611.
Okay.
And my neighbors to the north and south, one each way, they started. That's where all of a sudden, after they did ours or started on ours, then they shut down the project. So, like another gentleman was saying, I got totem poles and brush laying down, and it's an eyesore, of course. But I'm assuming they'll take care of it eventually, and I'll keep bugging them until they do. But I don't know if there's a recourse for the trees. Apparently, they didn't have permission from the county to be on the road right away. I mean, I'm sure it's a formality that they can get it from them, but
Do you know any? I'm sorry. Do you know what Jim knows the roads and the road commission? Do you know the relationship there?
I have the gentleman's name that's in charge of the road right of ways, and he was supposed to be meeting with consumers because they have a pretty much a blanket permit to trim, but not to clear cut
In the road right away.
in the road right of way. He was supposed to be meeting with consumers to figure that afternoon that you were here, the next day, that Tuesday, he was meeting with consumers on the site. And I haven't heard anything back from him.
Can you follow up with
I
him?
will, yep.
And then in 2 weeks, we'll have this be an agenda, and you can item. And
We won't be here in 2 weeks. That'll be Memorial Day, so our next meeting
Whenever
is
it is.
June 8th.
Okay, June 8th. Would you report back?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, so they took trees down on the road right away. So more,
he's gonna
more,
find
more
out.
than trimming, yes.
Jim will find out and report back on what that.
Yep.
But yeah, just kind of wondering about the cleanup process, and then also, I don't want to use the word restitution, but they ought to plant trees or do something to take that area back if they're not going to end up using that. I mean, I realize road right away, I don't have a lot of rights on that, but it's still, they took trees down, they ought to make it right and put them trees back or something. But and then to address the power line, the clearing of the existing easement, the power lines that they did, they have no trouble clearing 10 feet back each way, but they don't clear the stuff that reaches over top of the thing.
Yeah.
It seems kind of ridiculous to me, but what do I know?
More than we do. Thank you, because it sounds like, Nate, is this right, that you only can go 10 feet on either side of the line? Is that the extent of your easement? Right, and that's kind of the problem, because if you go 10 feet, but 12 feet is a 30-foot tree, and it falls, it will hit, it does 10 feet, doesn't matter unless the tree's less than 10 feet, right? Well, whether it's, so that's an interesting question, because do you measure it on the ground, or can you, I don't know. Nate, maybe you can find that out too. I mean, because 10 feet, if you go over on the ground, but if you're in the air and it's within 10 feet, that's your point, right? Yeah. And there may be a reason for that. We'll find that out too. All right, who's next? Come on up.
Judy Niedrek, 5550 7 Mile. And I just want to reiterate some of the things that they said when they came through in September and clear cut some of the trees. I feel like my property was about decimated. They not only cut branches down, they brush hogged practically my whole 10 acres. I mean, I can see all the way back to the end of my 10 acres that I couldn't see before. And I think that was a little excessive, but it is what it is. And I also agree that I don't like the piles of logs that I have sitting at the bottom of the trees that they cut. How am I supposed to get rid of them? There's some that are, yay big around. We can't lift those. I did have somebody come. Actually, I saw him through my Ring doorbell before I came back from Florida, and it must have been probably early March, I'm thinking, and was telling me that they were going to come and change my pole, put a new pole in, and then reconnect the power to my house, which is over my driveway. And again, somebody said too, that was one thing that they didn't trim, and there are branches over that. So and he kind of said it would be within the next couple of weeks. Well, I haven't seen or heard anybody since then. I will say that I've had 3 different instances since I moved in 16 where trees fallen on the wires and sparked, and they came out immediately and took care of it. But that was pretty scary. I was a little worried about that. But my biggest issue is the mess on 7 Mile. I can understand them wanting to move the lines. That's whatever. You know, we had a beautiful tunnel of trees coming down 7 Mile, but I understand the need to have clear power lines. But right now it looks like a war zone. The stumps and the big, huge logs that are there just, I mean, nothing's, I don't know if it's done or what, but
I don't know.
It looks terrible. Well, it's just such an eyesore.
I have a question. Sorry.
Sure.
So this eyesore, is it a combination of the logs that are sitting there still and the stumps and the fact that the trees are gone? Is it a combination of all that?
All 3. They're just haphazard. You know, they're not, and I understand the project isn't done, but it looks pretty bad.
Okay. What else?
That's it.
That's it?
Thank you.
Certainly. If you think of something else, just come on up. So anybody else? Is this so we hear you?
Just make one brief comment here. I'll keep it short. I sent Richard Houtman a letter to Consumers Energy. He is Richard Houtman.
Oh.
I believe he would be Nate's boss. No? Cohart?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay. I sent him a letter on April 23rd, effectively saying, show me the data that justifies this project. No response.
Okay.
I've been asking for data to justify this project from day one. This has been going on for years. I have filed a complaint to stop this project with the Michigan Public Service Commission. It's a formal complaint. Should it not be accepted, I am going to the Attorney General's office. I've got contacts there I've already touched base with. I've also spoke with some experts in this field, and I intend to be an intervener in the next rate case with Consumers Energy and stop
that's
this
like June,
nonsense.
right?
Thank you.
That's like June, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Come on up. You're fine.
If you could you define the next steps? Because we're talking about increasing communication. Like Consumers does a good job. Sometimes we're talking one-on-one, but we're collective now. So how do we collectively?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
Be able to connect with you, Consumers, before the next thing happens. There's got to be a meeting. There cannot be I'll just talk to somebody who's got a problem.
So,
the reason why there people are here is because they actually had a problem. Other people didn't even think they could do anything about it. So they're just taking it.
Well, good.
So how do we get the next steps defined?
Well, we'll talk about that. Nate, what do you suggest we do next? What do you think the best way to go would be? Okay, so here's what we could do. Here's what you guys could do. I'm going to spitball. Did you have something? Why don't you come up and then we'll get to that, because I don't want people waiting.
It's so heated.
It's what?
It's very emotional.
I bet it is.
Yeah. So my name is Laura Sokol. My husband Gary's back there. We're at 6311 Blakely. I think the communication from Consumers has basically been non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who put the flyer in my mailbox, but again, I want to thank them. Didn't know anything about that. This was before the board. We've gotten very little communication from Consumers. Back in the fall, when they came by to trim, one of my questions was, and I know it came up, is burying the power lines. Consumers' own website touts the value of burying the lines, that it's safer for humans, it's safer for animals. It certainly would be a lot more sightly than what is currently on Blakely and 7 Mile Road. I agree that whoever said it looks like a war zone, it does. And it was, I thought, very pretty. We've experienced some power outages on Blakely. One was due to a frog, is what we were told.
It was a what?
A frog.
A frog?
In the transformer box is what we were told. Another was a squirrel. They were not limbs. So these transformers, there's a lot more than trees that can get in and muck up your electricity. So if you're burying things, again, Consumers' website says they have fewer outages, and over the long term, the cost is about the same.
Why?
Because they're having to not trim trees on every 5 years or whatever they were doing. It's not that they're not without problem, but over time, burying them is a benefit. And then also the Zoom meeting too that Nate was at, I found out from another neighbor. Apparently there was a Zoom meeting when all this started. I don't know how many of my other neighbors knew that. I happened to hop on at work and was able to listen to some. And is it Teal Leon, Nate, was part of your team? Maybe.
Teal what?
Teal, T-I-A-L, Leon, L-I-A-N. Was he on the Zoom meeting?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, engineer. He was specifically asked to provide the cost benefit analysis that was done for this project, and there was not one done. He clearly denied or said there was not ever done a cost benefit analysis for this project. And as a project manager, as mentioned from another neighbor, you would think they would do a cost benefit analysis before you ever start chopping things and or burying potentially, right?
Right.
I'm hoping the township does that with a project. You do a cost benefit analysis. I work at the hospital. We do cost benefit analyses, and it seems crazy that they didn't do that. So that is all I want to say, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Who's next? Come on up again. No problem. You don't have to.
Hi, Jeff Belmonte again. I just want to maybe help catch some people up to speed on some things. When we talk about people, Mr. Cole at the Kent County Road Commission, and dealing with the people that are actually cutting the trees on your property, Mr. Cole stated that there is now not in process nor been granted a permit to cut any trees in the roadway at 33 feet from the center of the road. So if consumers, and these are all terms that should have been defined in a meeting, and for certain, if they're going to take large oak trees or large beautiful trees off your property, somewhere along the line, you should be provided with a map or something to sign off on saying, yep, you talked to me, I got it. I know what you're doing. I know when you're doing it. And it is what it is. But that 33 feet has not been granted a permit for this project by the Kent County Road Commission. That's for sure. So that might be something they were going to go back and get by September, but it's not in place now. So that's a no-fly zone right now to cut trees, not to trim. And Nate, if that's if we have that wrong, that'd be great to hear tonight. And then the people that are actually cutting the trees, consumers hires companies, people to come out, large, small, and whatever. And folks, it depends on who shows up at your house that day, what mood they're in, what their qualifications are, and you have to protect your property and watch what's going on, because I've talked with several of these people, and they have their own stories about how consumers works and how they get what they get told and what happens, and it's a free-for-all. It literally on some of these big trees that are marked as hazards, even not with an X, but a hazard must come down, and then they decide, the tree guy says, I don't want to do that today, it's too much work, and leaves. And then consumers comes back, and I was told this personally by consumers, and Andrew, there's a third-party planning firm involved in this as well. Ultimately, it's the people cutting the tree, the Townsend or the Chop or whoever, that makes the call on what trees get cut. Well, I don't have any legal, they don't have any legal right to do anything on my property. They're just a contractor. So where is the consumer supervisor that should be on site saying, yep, that one, yep, we got to move that, or talking with the people on your property? Because as we all know, once they cut it down, it's too late. And then it's just deny and move on, and we can't really help you. So, and we had Teal and planning and engineering and forestry and community relations all out in our driveway, our neighbor little area last Thursday or Friday. In the lack of the left hand not knowing what the right hand and what's going to happen here, if you don't get involved, and this is where as a consumer, it's been clearly stated to them, it's not like they're Verizon and we can go to T-Mobile. It's a monopoly. Mm-hmm. So you don't have any choices. You just most people think in the end, what can I do? I'm just a little guy. They can do whatever they want to do. So that might be something for Nate to maybe circle around on. Someone just said it a minute ago, and earlier I've seen it on the website, that most of the things that are on the website don't get followed by consumers. It's just fluff. It's just whatever, like we'll have this to you. So a gentleman came to my door and asked if he could be on my property. And I said, show me a piece of paper that gives you the right to be on my property, or call me, come back with a plan. Never happened. And then, there's the saws. So then you call the Kent County. And one more thing to know about your easements from the Kent County standpoint, you need to check with your title company to make sure that language has been tracked to the different sales of your land, because it might say 66-foot wide easement, but it doesn't give you any description. And so there could be an error on your property's presentation of, like, where do you go to find this information? And that'd be something that I was surprised when I asked for, where are you getting this right to be on my property? And I went back all the way to 1937. I'm like, wow, that's fascinating what was on that and how it read and where you got that. The only problem is, in all my paperwork when I bought the house, it's not there. So, now I got to check into the title and company and see if there's a claim there, because maybe I have some easements that I didn't know about. So thank you again.
Certainly. If you want to come back up.
Janet LaPrairie, 6260 Blakely Drive. I just want to give voice to the lack of communication. I got a flyer on my door way back when, called just to get as much information as I could.
This was a consumer's flyer?
Yes,
Okay.
consumer's flyer. Door hanger thingy.
Door hanger.
Yeah. And I called, finally, it's a process to get a hold of somebody that knows about things. It was the number, the little phone tag. And I was told simply that lines had to be tougher and we need bigger poles to go where your poles are. And I have 2 telephone poles in my yard, and I thought the plan was bigger pole so they could have tougher lines. I didn't expect all this. I live right at the end before the tree tunnel, and it looks very different now. And now I have 4 stakes in my yard with red tops, and that they're all slated for proposed poles. So I don't know, I'm getting more poles, am I getting bigger poles? I don't know, and I don't know where you're supposed to get the answers. So those are the kind of communication, and why you're just kind of wondering what's going on as your woods around you is disappearing.
Thank you. Who's next? Anybody? Come on up.
Is the microphone good? I just know there's been.
You're fine. Name and address.
Alex Matusik, 5842 Timber Canyon Northeast. I live by the aforementioned gun club.
Yes.
Like on the corner of Blakely and 7 Mile. And the areas where they've cut is just like stripped down to soil. So one concern I have is what sort of erosion control measures have been in place regarding this project?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just keep it
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So who's next? Anybody? If you'd like, doesn't have to be your last. Come on up.
We want to know what other projects Consumers has even thought of for Canyon Township. If you thought about other power lines you're moving, we want to know every project. If it's part of the right to know, if we have a right to know, we want to know what other projects you have planned. Because you live somewhere around here, so I think you should know if someone's planning to come and cut down the barrier between you and the road. I think you should get to know that. I think you should know it years in advance, right? So we want to know every project by name, by number, because we're going to follow them and find out what's going on.
Good.
Thanks. And what's the status of those projects?
Okay. Who's next? Anybody? Is that it? Are we done? I have to look way over here because okay. So here's what, Nate, a couple questions for you while you're still here, which I appreciate. How would you like how could we help with the communication? Because what I thought I heard you say is you would want emails, right? And so do you want everybody's email, or would you like to go through like me? I promise to do a better job. but would you like to go through me so that I can get these from these folks? Or one of the other options I was thinking as we were talking is I could get them to get the word out. Anybody that would like updates, you could do a blanket email to everyone.
Right. So I think
So however you want to do that.
we have obviously some customers on our system have auto bill set up, right? Emails, things like that. So we have a decent amount. I need to go through and match that up. I see the list here of neighbors. I'll check that against our stuff to see what we have. I think we should have, a decent amount of those already provided. I want to go through and double check that, and probably some version of mail too, because not everybody uses email. So I know they were working on that at the last turn.
Okay, that's good.
So I got to check with the team to see where they were at with that.
However, we could potentially help. You all just let us know. But one of the things we can do, if you're going to deal directly with them, and I don't mind doing this, if you want to include me on the emails, copy me.
Certainly.
And then if you're not hearing something, you let me know, and I'll get, and we'll see if we can't improve the communication. So that's a start with that, I think. I did have a thought, and it might be really stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't mind being stupid. With regard to the stumps, I know from, like I said, firsthand experience that because my stumps are still there. Not the stumps, the stumps probably are too because I don't think they got rid of the stumps, but the logs are still there. So I had a thought, and I think I knew from before that consumers, the policy is to leave them. That's just the way it is. And it makes sense that a lawyer would have screwed the whole thing up.
There's some version, yeah.
That's what I do. So, so that doesn't surprise me, liability, because it is personal property once the street, whether they're in the right of way or not. But then I had a thought. Do you think there are a lot of people that heat their homes with logs, right, with wood? So there's all this wood sitting there that people could benefit from, right?
It's the right kind.
If it's the right kind. What would, like, not pine, hardwoods or whatever, right? I'm sorry? Oh, too much pine.
But a lot of the problem too is having someone come on your property, operating a chainsaw, having a truck and a trailer, whatever, that liability.
Well,
as a property owner, I wouldn't want it.
Well, I wouldn't mind because what you would do is you would sign a release. They would have to sign a release.
Most people don't think about that, but
well, they do now. I just said it. So, no, there are ways. I don't know. I told you it might not be workable, but
the road commission cleans up their mess when they make one.
All right, we're not going to go there. So, anyway, that was just a thought. Yeah. But if it's all pine, there's really nothing you can do with that anyway, right? You can't burn it. It's not all pine. Well, how many people would, and look, like I said, I don't mind exploring things, and maybe it's a bad idea, but time will tell. If we could get around potential liability issues, how many people would like to look into people coming on your property to take away the wood that they would want for free? Not many of you? One? What's that? Well, let's look at, though, we kind of have to look at what we have, and if consumers doesn't do it, and let's say there's not a way to force that issue, the question is, what do you want to do? If you'd like the wood removed and we can't, and that's their policy not to, and their policy has survived, over the years with certain challenges, legal and otherwise, it seems to me that the question then becomes, well, what are we prepared to do for ourselves about it, right? And if we could find people that would be willing to take the wood away, whether consumers does it or not, yeah, I think in a perfect world they should, but whatever. If the law is totally different, it's what the law says, not, how that works.
Yeah, and I can follow up on that point too. I mean,
see if you can find it.
It's something that especially as we increase forestry operations, right? And you go down, it's something that we constantly are battling.
Yeah, if you don't mind checking that out, and let me know because I got a whole driveway full of it too, so I would like to know. So anyway, and then the other thing is, it seems to me, is if you could check on potential future projects in Cannon
Mhm.
that are on the books. And then the last thing I had here was, I think that there should be some information about potential, at least, remediation. Not money necessarily, but are you going to plant? Are you what? Are you what? I don't even know what you do, or do you just let it grow from what you have left?
So
out?
remediation wise, like in terms of if we cut something we shouldn't have, because that does happen. I mean, I'm not here to tell you that we've never cut a tree we weren't
what I'm
supposed
kind
to.
of what I'm talking about remediation is, so when you do this, whether, and let's assume for now it's in the right place
Mhm.
where it was supposed to be, do you just leave it and let things then grow from there, and nature takes over, ground cover, and then it's
No, I mean they try to leave it, to the best, natural state of ability as possible.
okay?
But like coming in and planting trees, and
You
things
don't do
like
that.
I mean, especially where we removed them.
That makes sense.
we didn't want
You're gonna plant trees under the wires
That's
and
it.
then come back in 20.
real source of problem.
See, I'm smart.
Yeah.
I picked
Now, there
up
are
on that.
trees that you can plant in general that don't go. We have a lot of customers.
I just wondered. So those are the issues that I had that I thought, and then you've got the 4 questions.
Yes.
Think about how you want to communicate. If we can help, I will help. If we can help with that.
Yep.
If not, deal directly. And I would suggest you guys all share emails. You just gave them a list of things, right?
Yep.
And so we're going to have this on the agenda next time, June what?
June 8th.
When is that?
June 8th.
June 8th.
We'll have this be a recurring thing, and so that we can update people. You guys will continue to do what you do as far as sharing the information to your folks, all these people here. You don't mind continue to do that?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's certainly the goal, is to not have it be a telephone game.
We won't do telephone. I'm
Yeah.
talking about emails. We'll give them your personal number. How's that? So we can text.
That's great. Yeah. No.
Not going to happen.
Answer.
No, don't worry about it. I'm the only one that has my number. I do. That's okay. All right. So, are we good for now? Is this a little helpful? Somewhat
We'll
helpful.
follow up.
Would you mind giving us notification when you're about to ready to start it up?
Right now, we're paused. I mean,
They're
we got to
paused
figure
now.
out.
But he's talking about when it starts up again.
I will do my best to make sure. I mean, I don't think I'll talk to the project, but I don't think we have any intention of restarting anything until we figure this out. So,
All right.
It's my commitment. I will talk to the team.
So here's what I'll do. Okay.
Again, we don't want.
You want to make it right.
Yeah, this is not what we strive for at the end of the day.
No, clearly not. And I do appreciate your willingness to come in here to.
Yeah, so we just paused the entire operation to figure out, because some of it's going to go through a redesign, because the intent, really the still main trunk of the problems that line down Blakely for us, or through the woods off Blakely, that's still our main goal, is to get that line out of that deep wood cover. Down 7 Mile, we're going through, I think you were part of the meeting, I wasn't able to be there last week, down 7 Mile to try and figure out, can we re-conductor in some places to not move that line from where it is. So to do that in place, with some of the tree cover there, I think our folks felt, decently comfortable with doing that, upgrading it to better tree guard, better tree wire. That's not going to solve the issue through the woods, that line through there. But where we can and make adjustments, there's been some poles that we've moved to for some customers to try and maybe make it like if they have one tree on their property, we've moved it around. But the thing is, when you move, I'm a non-engineer. When you move one, there's a cascading effect because of how the distances are guide, right? The sets between each pole, the tensions and things like that. So they've made adjustments where possible. So really it's that piece of that 7 Mile piece that we're trying to figure out. Can we leave that in place? I think we feel good about that. They're going through the redesign now to check on that, with still the main target being getting that line to Blakely. So. Yeah, we're trying to see, like, can we leave that in place down 7 Mile, go out to Blakely? Will that satisfy sort of some of the concerns from our folks on the reliability side? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those that gets identified, right? We sort of have these problem circuits that we're watching. It's a constant shuffle of things moving on the board and off of funding, priority status when it comes to the number of outages. Like I said, there was 24 outages, I think, just in the last 6 years on this circuit alone. And so some of that, sure, has gotten better with that trimming. Some of it will continue to precipitate really largely because of that line that's through the woods. Well, our goal is to make sure we don't want people to buy generators. We want
That's right. You don't want that.
So.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So did I cover your issue? What was your issue again?
I have it.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was getting at as far as remedial.
I'll ask our environmental team. We have a whole environmental compliance department that we have to go through. Any, Eagle came up earlier, others that we have to comply with all federal, state, local regulations. So I just don't. I'm not on the environmental team. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to have them take a look. You said it's off 7 Mile? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've been down there. I don't know if I've seen that.
All right.
Yeah. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, you know it's an issue now. Thank you. That's a good one. All right. Are we okay if we move on? Are we okay? Everybody all right if we move on then? All right. Thank you. We will now move to the J1, which is the well update. Jim.
Okay, as last time we had the DEQ Eagle has started a project for this area on PFAS. They sent notifications to 29 property owners on Silver Lake, Myers Lake, and in behind the Cannon Township property. We had a second test well drilled behind the fire barn. That area is where the fire department did the training back in the 60s or 70s,
Ray,
80s,
sorry.
80s.
Ray, would you close those doors? You what? Can somebody close those doors,
Yeah.
please? They can talk out there. I just want to make sure we can.
So that's why it's low well groundwater that's contaminated. Our well in the cemetery was 15 feet. The well on the resident well was 25 feet. So they drilled another well out here, got to 22 feet when they hit the clay layer. And so they took a sample last week and said it'd be about 2 weeks. So sometime next week, I should hear a response on what the PFAS level was.
Good.
I'd expect it to be higher there because that's where they actually did the training. And
but we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yep.
Thank you. Cy, bricks.
Yes. So Jessica actually put this press release together. I'll give her thank you for taking care of that, Jess. It looks wonderful. But a quick update on the campaign so far. We're about a little close to $7,000 raised through the brick fundraiser. So thank you to everybody that has done it. Thank you to Ray for organizing all of that. It's just incredible, the website you put together. So we appreciate that. So thank you. Jess, do you think to add to the press release or anything to comment about it?
If you click that link on our website, if you're in the agenda, it will take you right to buy the brick. So if anyone's concerned or can't find the link, it's right there in our agenda, clickable.
I was able to figure it out.
I could figure it out. So,
yeah.
So
you guys are a lot smarter than me, so you should figure it out.
So let us know if you have any questions, but thank you to everybody that's donated and appreciate the interest in the project so far.
Good. Anything else? Oh, Jim, approval of the.
No, you got
I need a motion to approve the application for payment on the park. For the community center.
So move.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor of paying our bills, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, you'll pay that, right? All right. Jim, you want a polling location?
Okay, there's a resolution in the packet on page 43, I believe it is. That's by state law, with the township board has to set the polling location, permanent polling location for the township. It has to be done by, I believe, May 12th, which is tomorrow. So everybody should have today received a new voter's registration card in the mail that lists all your senators and congressmen and all that good stuff on it. And it also says that the location is at 7601 Belding Road, which is the new building that's not there yet. So the resolution is to set that as the new permanent location. You'll be getting a notice sometime in July in your tax bill that's saying our temporary location for the primary is going to be Crestwood Elementary School, because that building won't be done yet. We can't put the machine.
We don't know that though. We're hoping.
So the resolution number R2608, I move we approve.
Support? Somebody?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. All right. All opposed? All right. You want some furniture?
Okay. Flipped it over on my page here. We've been looking at furniture for the new building.
Okay.
And Ray and I, mostly Ray, put together a want list, or a list of the equipment we want to be able to support the number of people that building will hold. And I got with Andrus Architecture, our architect, and got the number of square tables, round tables. Some of these tables are needed for election. The chairs, we had a chair in the lobby for a couple weeks that is not the exact same chair that we have in the proposal, but it's very similar. The one we got is actually a little bit better than that. We put it through the county bid process, and we got 12 bids back.
Okay.
They ranged from $17,000 to $92,000. So
are they bidding on the same thing?
Yep, they were bidding on the same thing. The $17,000, which was the low bid, we discounted because they didn't quote the stacking chairs. They quoted folding chairs, and they tend to not stand up. In 2 years, you're going to be buying them all over again. So we discounted that. The next two bids were West Michigan Office Furniture at $25,495, and Holland Desk and Chair at $20,165. The stacking chair that West Michigan Office had listed was a capacity of 325 pounds with a 5-year warranty, which is going to be the big user in that facility for weddings and whatever. And the one from Holland Chair was a 10-year warranty and a 500-pound rating. So significantly higher rating at a lower price. So I make a motion we approve $20,165 to Holland Chair.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have a question.
Well, we're not done yet. All those opposed? Okay. What's your question?
What is our occupancy for the new building?
The total occupancy of the building, it depends on the layout, but the standing room only a little over 200, with chairs at about 160, 140 to 160. So this takes us at about 160, not maximum capacity.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we're not supplying any linen, just tables and chairs.
Thank you.
All right. We have no correspondence. So anybody want to tell us what's going on in your committee? Anybody?
Rec committee. No, facilities committee. We met tonight, and one of the items we talked about, we have a Kubota that we use to maintain the trail, and the Kubota is great. the implements for the Kubota are of lesser quality than we would have liked. We've gone through 3 transmissions on the brush that Blake uses to brush the debris and bugs and the berries and stuff that fall. It just seems to eat up transmission. That's the same transmission we use with a snow blower. When we have heavy snow and have to blow it, we've looked at, and they're sitting out front here for a couple of days. It's called a Tool Cat by Bobcat. They're relatively expensive at about $100,000, but it's an industrial machine. Ada uses one. Cascade or Gaines? Cascade uses one. They love them. They have great reliability. So, in looking at purchasing one with the implements, it's going to be around 120 grand. And we need to bid it. We will bid it through the county bid system, but more than likely, Carlton Equipment, who we've been dealing with, they have this whole West Michigan area as their area. So when we bid it, undoubtedly, they're going to probably come in the lowest because anybody else is going to be shipping from Saginaw or Detroit or someplace.
We'll find out.
So,
where's that money coming from?
Well, that's the discussion. Normally, because it's used 60% rec and 40% township, we'd split it 60-40. But right now, with the rec department's plans for trail construction, they don't have an extra $70,000 in the rec budget unless we say TS, we're going to spend it anyway.
I understand what that means. Go ahead.
So we're looking at taking it out of the
general fund.
General fund, if possible. We haven't. We're not at that point yet. We still have to get bids. Maybe we can get a used one from someplace. That's
okay. Well, all right.
So just bringing it to everybody's attention, so you can have your input if you.
Todd.
Yeah, just to further expand on that, we talked about it facilities and not that we don't have the money in the rec budget, but we have the money already allocated to projects. So we're, if things go as we hope they'll go in the rec committee, we'll be expanding the Keys section to Cortland. That'll take about $1 million. I think we have 1.6 million in our budget right now. We get about 550,000 a year in the millage, but right on the heels of that, we've got the project that Kent County wants us to do to go from the village out to the ski area to meet the Grand River Greenway Trail. So they would like us to do that, within the next few years to meet up with theirs. So
county does.
Yeah. So we would like
for that.
What's that?
Who's paying for that?
Well, we're paying for the section from the village to the ski area. They're paying for the section from Pettis to the ski area.
Oh.
So yeah. So we're kind of meeting halfway there. But nonetheless, we're working hard as a rec committee to save dollars for that. So what we discussed is some options. The Bobcat is a fantastic machine. I think we all agree that's the gold standard, what we'd like to have. Chief had looked into some options to buy used. He found some online that were a year or two old that we could save a lot of money. That's one option. Another option we discussed is, unfortunately, like Jim said, this Kubota it's a great machine. Just the accessories are we keep burning through clutches. We keep burning through all kinds of things. But having said that, we still can buy, we can buy a new brush every 2 years and still be money ahead over buying the Bobcat. So we're trying to weigh our options right now. That might be an option too. Like if we can buy a new brush for $2,000 and it lasts for 2 years and we got to put a clutch or two in it, which
it would take 60 years.
All right.
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 Yeah.
Right.
One of the problems, though, is
you'll probably still be on the board.
Yeah.
I will not.
When the clutch is down, we've been down with it now for 2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's got to come from Japan. They don't have parts in the United States.
Well, the other issue too, though, isn't it that right now it's 60-40 rec versus township, right?
Right.
But you are increasing the trails significantly, so isn't that percentage going to change?
Huge.
It is, and the demand on the machine is going to change. So, once we connect to Cortland, we'll start doing the Cortland section as well, all the way to the Rockford city limits. And then once we expand down here, they're going to want that done as well.
Which
so
means getting a brush every 2 years will be a lot more often than that.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, it'll be down more often.
Right.
So that makes no sense.
Right.
On the other hand, I think you all ought to figure out what percentage rec is going to pay versus the township based on the amount of trails.
I think it's 30%.
Yeah, I bet you do. So anyway, I would suggest before we bid anything out for that, you all figure that out.
Yeah.
What the,
Yeah, we have a little work to do yet.
Yeah, you do. Good. You're just updating us on
Just
what
updating.
you're not going to bid it out.
No.
Okay.
No, we're not. No decisions to be made there.
Good. I would suggest you.
I will say that, we started plowing the trail, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably the single most popular comment that I get in the wintertime, how much people appreciate that trail being plowed and cleaned.
Good.
So it's
Well,
something
it's
as a
good.
township
It's
we
just
should continue to do. I mean, because one option is if we don't spend the money, just don't plow it in the wintertime. But I think that'd be very unpopular with the residents in Cannon Township.
Oh, we're going to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
but it's got to be, it seems to me, fair because people that don't use the trail to the extent they're out there shouldn't pay, right? It's a rec thing.
Yep.
It's a combination rec township and general fund. I get it, but it's got to be a fair distribution of what the use is, seems like to me. But whatever. I don't know anything. So who's committee updates? Who's next? Cy?
Yes. So thank you to everybody that came to the garlic mustard poll last weekend. It was a good success. We worked behind the township building here on the mountain biking trail. So thank you to everybody for that. And then May 20, we will have the foraging event that will take place. It'll start here in the boardroom, and then we'll have a small walk tour that'll take place outside on the boardwalk behind the township building near the playground.
Okay. Who else, committees? Who else has something?
I have something for Planning Commission.
Yeah, go ahead.
So tomorrow we're meeting for the Planning Commission. There is a discussion on there. We're talking about Precinct 3 and a possible rezoning from RR to 1 acre lots from 2. But I want to make it very clear because a discussion doesn't mean that the decision is moving forward. Discussion means that we're just talking about it. And so the reason why no one got a notification if they live in Precinct 3 for this is because this isn't an actual public hearing. This is a discussion. So if you have any insight or questions that you have to ask, it'd be a great time for you to come to ask the questions so that we as planning commissioners can get the answers to the questions and have a really thoughtful discussion on what this would look like for the township.
Okay. Who else has committee reports? Okay. Board comment. Cy? Todd?
Nope.
Jim? David? Jessica?
Just an update. Today, one of our staff posted about the lost and found. We have a lost and found here at the township. People are always leaving things around. And I believe someone was reunited with a pair of glasses. So pretty exciting update.
I hope they didn't drive over here to get them. What? So anyway, I have two things that are kind of exciting. One is I met with Representatives Posthumus and Wooden about the Eagle issue, and they have committed, I don't know, they're working on it, to get Eagle to fund the work at the authority that they think would solve the problem. They're trying to get it in the budget as we speak. Good. And what was funny is because I said to them, we're not paying for it. They need to know that. And so when they got that message, when Eagle got that message from the representatives, and it was great bipartisan talk because Wooden's a Democrat, and and I said, we're all for the residents and we just don't want them to have to pay for Eagle's problems. But anyway, it was funny when they communicated that there was no way we were going to pay for it. Eagle said, "Well, they don't need to do 30 million. They can do something a lot smaller, a lot less expensive." And I said, "Yeah, as long as they pay for it." And so that's what we're talking about now. And then the other thing is, as far as the park goes, the road should be in to the point where the foundation can go in and the buildings start to go vertical May 19th. Okay. So, and I have been promised by Visser, because I talk to him every day, and not a nice tone, that it's going to have to we're holding him to the same deadline that started running in January. So he's got 7 months, so July. So I said, you're going to have to really make progress. I don't think he'll do it, but he's going to try. So, because we'll withhold payment, I told him. We're not. I don't care. Anyway, so that's my. Anybody else have anything else? If not, who's got public comment now? Anybody? Thank you for staying for the whole thing. Report back to Gina how well we're run, would you? That'd be great. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Are we good with the like what happened? Is it somewhat helpful, do you think? That's fair. That's fair. Okay, good. All right.
My Maui comment. You want me to make a quick comment?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Well, I asked.
Well, I know. So, Bob, last time you had talked about My Maui. And so I did a little research into My Maui, and it looks like a good organization. However, I think as a township, when I look back, we just don't have a lot of issues with utilities. So I don't know if there's a lot of value. It's only $1,400. It's nothing. But I don't know that we have a lot of value. And this is just my opinion. I'm 1 of 7, right? So the others might feel differently. But I thought it probably makes sense to see if we can't work with the communication with Consumers Energy and continue this forum where you guys can work together and everybody kind of gets to that point where we feel like we're making progress. If we had other issues with utilities and with lighting and with all the services they provide, there may be some value. I don't know. Would you agree with that? Because you've researched it as well. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be on the agenda, so keep us informed.
And that's a
by
generous
email
offer
as well. What?
Generous offer for you to pay for it. I appreciate that, but I think if it makes sense for the township should pay for it. So we'll just see how this goes. We'll continue the conversations. We'll continue the communication lines and
right. And while
see
you're
if we
offering
can
to pay for things, would you pay for our community center?
Yeah.
It's $4 million.
How do you feel about buying a Bobcat to clean the?
You want to buy a Bobcat?